So, good morning, everyone. Welcome to the second week of the orientation program. And I hope we had a great time previous week. So let's continue. We have the last one before you start the new academic year. Today, our day is devoted to health and wellness. As we were saying also the previous week, in order to achieve academic success, you need to have balance between your personal life and also the academic studying, etc., in order to reach success. So we start first our presentation about KEPSIPA, and I would like to call on stage Mrs. Fanny Ponirou, KEPSIPA psychologist.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome on board. My name is Fanny Ponirou, and I'm an applied psychologist at the Center of Applied Psychology and Personal Development, known as KEPSIPA. I will give you some information about our center. The official opening was in September of 2016, and it is based on prevention, assessment, and therapy. It is a service free of cost for the students and the staff of European University. Among the services we provide to both students and staff include individual therapy and psychological assessment, group therapy. Actually, in a few weeks, we're about to start 2 psychoeducational groups about anxiety and self-improvement. And another service we provide is psychoeducation seminars to staff, including referrals and management of complex cases in class. A few words about our staff at KEPSIPA. The head is Dr. Panagiotis Parpotas. Special psychologist is Fanny Ponirou. And we also have clinical psychology trainees. And also we have our KEPSIPA call center. How you can find us? You can either call at the KEPSIPA call center at 22559-509, or you can either send us an email at kepsipa@auc.ac.cy. Our working hours is Monday to Friday from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. We work only with scheduled appointments during the academic year, and KEPSIPA remains closed during the Christmas and Easter break and the month of August. Our new address is 11 Archangelou Street. So again, if you need to contact KEPSIPA, you can either call or send us an email. Thank you.
We don't think that you go to KEPSIPA only for extreme cases. I'm telling this to help you. You might go to handle your anxiety and stress because you changed the country and you are in a new country. Stress because of exams. Whatever affects your studying, it is a reason that you can visit KEPSIPA and get assisted. So now we will proceed with the head of KEPSIPA, Dr. Panagiotis Parpotas, that is going to present to you the Committee for Students with Special Educational Needs.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to European University Cyprus. I hope that you enjoy this journey that you will have with us. As you already know, I'm the head of GEPSIBA, the Center of Applied Psychology and Personal Development, and also I chair the Committee for Students with Special Educational Needs and Disabilities here at our university. Now, one of the steps that we would like you to know about this committee, which from October is going to change the name. We're not going to be called FA anymore, but we're going to become an office under GEPSIBA officially, is that we identify students from the early beginning of their studies concerning any special educational needs that they may have had in school or would like to get assessed for the first time in their life in order to get all the provisionary academic accommodations throughout their study at European University Cyprus. We have several steps. Either you can do it by yourselves, or an academic staff, an administration staff can send you to our committee. So one of the first steps is actually during the registration or the induction process. Otherwise, you can get self-referred to FAA. And sometimes we accept referrals from third parties or organizations who are mostly associated with disability offices, etc. Now, some of the issues that we deal with this committee are learning difficulties, as you may see, reading disorder, the most commonly known as dyslexia, mathematics disorder, otherwise dyscalculation, expression disorder, learning disorder otherwise specified, or any other kind of special learning disorder. Then we have other psychological, let's say, issues like ADHD, or disabilities like hearing impairment, vision, or movement disabilities, psychological disorders, and emotional distress as well. And finally, under the last category, we have the health issues, any acute or severe health issues that they may impact your academic experience. We can assess them and provide all the necessary accommodations. Some examples of the accommodations that we provide. This is not very, very few of the large list of the accommodations that we have is extenuating circumstances for the submission of an assignment or any additional timing during examinations, exemption for marking, spelling, punctuation, etc. More information you can find after you proceed with any kind of assessment that you would like to go through. Appointments. FAA operates a bit differently from GEPSIBA. We operate from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. The same phone that you were presented before, 2255-9509. And our email is a bit different, faa@euc.ac.cy. Now, both services, most people say that they do not know where our services are located. We're off campus, but very, very close to campus. As you may see, it's only 250 meters away from European University. On the south part of the university, you can come by walking. It's only 3 minutes, or by car, even though you may realize at some point that parking around the premises from October and onwards is going to be very, very, very difficult. Therefore, we say that take a walk is not very far. As you may see, you can take the main road. If you go to the main road, follow the pavement, and directly you can find Archangelu 11. It's a house building, as you can see from outside. We have a label outside saying GEPSIBA FAA, and you are more than welcome to come and get assessed or provide us any information that you would like us to inform your instructors and generally your schools. That's all by me. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Parpota. And we now proceed with our presentation, Anxiety and Stress, How to Cope with My Feelings. And together with us, we will have Ms. Gianna Christofi and Ioanna Ioannou, FAA officers. Please come on the stage.
I would like to welcome our entire audience. I am Yanna Christofi, Committee for Students with Special Educational Needs. The specific presentation with you choose to attend presents target basic guideline for you to guide you in effective reading strategies. First of all, gain useful tips and methods to help you achieve the best possible academic result and a lifetime love of learning and knowledge. Studying is a skill that can be learned and needs to be taught. 15 tips to study effectively. First of all, organize your study in advance and set a reading schedule. Before you start reading, make sure you have organized your study in such a way that you know that you will have enough time until the day of the exam. Organization of the study time. Indicate the days and hours of your reading. Prepare to-do list. How many hours a day and for how many days do you need to study to cover the material? How many repetitions will you do and how long will it take you? These questions need to be answered from the beginning. They will save you from vain worry and anxiety. Second, make your study interesting. We can safely assume that reading can turn into a boring and a passive activity. Try to maintain an active reading attitude. Take handwritten notes with key points of each chapter or section you read, as the writing things down proves to enhance learning. Try to come up. Think of questions that you may be asked about the material you study. Write them down at the end of each chapter. Alternatively, try to think of questions that synthesize information from different chapters. Third, create an aesthetically pleasing and well-organized space for reading. Study needs a place which suits you and you feel comfortable. It can be our office, the living room, or the library of our school. The important thing is to be quiet and limit the external distraction as much as you can. It should be a well-lit and comfortable place. Always try to study in the same place to connect it with the study process. Find the hours when your mind is most relaxed and study them. Usually, these are the morning hours for most people, as the brain is relaxed after a good sleep. Before you start reading, make sure you have everything you need for your study: pencil, pens, notebooks, florins, and marker. Getting up every time you look for something you are missing works divisively for your concentration. 4. Avoid using the internet and the social media while you are studying. Almost everyone
So, thank you for coming back. And we are going on from where we were left with the presentation, Anxiety and Stress, How to Cope with My Feelings. And let's call on the stage again Andreas Ioannou, Maria Kapakiotou, and Eleni Bozidou, clinical psychology trainee students.
Hello, everyone, again. So, as we said before, my name is Maria, this is Eleni and Andreas, and we are clinical psychology trainees at Gepsiba. And today we're going to talk about anxiety and stress. We're going to see the differences between them. How do we respond to stress and anxiety? We're going to talk about the fight and flight system. We're going to see some psychosomatic symptoms. How does anxiety affect our health, thoughts, emotions, and behavior? We're going to talk about academic stress. We're going to see a case study, the story of Alex. We're going to talk about some maladaptive and adaptive ways of coping with stress and anxiety. And at the end, we're going to have a small Q&A. So some general information. First, according to the World Health Organization, health is not just the absence of a disease, it's a state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being. Levels of stress and anxiety are considered as important indicators of our mental health. Failing to deal with these emotions can lead to increased both physical and psychological problems, otherwise can lead to low levels of mental health. However, adopting a healthier lifestyle and habits, learning some dealing methods, can help you control the level of stress and anxiety you feel. Now we're going to see a short video clip about stress and anxiety. So if you want to participate in this activity, you just have to scan this QR code. It's just 2 questions. We ask you to answer a situation about, that caused you stress and anxiety. And the second question is how you deal with it. We're going to give a few minutes for you to answer.
So, in a question, can you recall a situation, event that caused you anxiety or stress? We have responses: exams, moving abroad, tests, my life, exam presentation, I lost my star in Mobile Legends, I think it's a game, almost missing my flight because I forgot my ID at home, an exam, driving license examination, public presentations, I can feel you, moving abroad. Yeah, so basically this kind of. How did you deal with it? Sports, exercise, study, learn, psychologist, I breathe, I tell my mom to drive me, I became more organized, by working out and talking with a friend and family, didn't actually deal with it, time healed, talk with a friend, gym, cry. Needed to remind myself that I don't need to get the best grade every time, and it's okay to not always have control. Medication, crying, yeah, and deep breathing. Thank you for participating.
Okay, so thank you for your participation. We're gonna move forward. So we usually feel stress when we recognize the presence of an external trigger. The trigger can be short-term, such as a work deadline or a fight with a person we love, or it can be long-term, such as being unable to work, discrimination, or a chronic illness. Some symptoms we may feel when we are stressed is irritability, anger, fatigue, muscle pain, some digestive problems, and sleep disturbances. On the other hand, anxiety is defined by persistent worries that don't go away even if the stressor does. It's a generalized reaction to an unknown conflict. It can be caused by a threatening situation in which the person is unable or it finds it difficult to recognize what the danger is. And some physical symptoms we may feel when we're anxious is shortness of breath, muscle tension, dry mouth, and dizziness. Anxiety often tends to affect a person's cognitive ability. Specifically, it can reduce the ability to perceive, to concentrate, to focus, and maintain attention. Now we can see on this side, we see some anxiety symptoms. On that side, some the opposite. on this side some stress symptoms, and on that side anxiety symptoms, and in the middle we see some common symptoms such as insomnia, irritability, headaches, chest pain. So when faced with a life-threatening situation, it often makes sense to fight or to run away. The fight or flight response is an automatic survival mechanism which prepares our body to take some actions. An important exam, for example, or speaking in front of a crowd might trigger the fight or flight response. So when it gets activated, our heart rate is getting increased, our muscles stretch, our pupils dilate, our hearing is getting decreased, and we start breathing faster. Another response is the freeze response. In this situation, we may feel paralyzed or being unable to move. However, the fight or flight response can be activated without a life-threatening situation because our brain cannot perceive the differences between a physical, a real danger, or an imagined one. So imagine that this is our nervous system, which is divided into two others and then two others. So our autonomic nervous system is divided into two others, the parasympathetic and the sympathetic nervous system. The parasympathetic one is responsible for the energy saving and storage. Generally, it's the one that it takes the most action when our body is resting or replenishing its strength. And on the other hand, our sympathetic system prepares our body to cope with the environmental stimuli. In a fight or flight response, for example, this system gets activated through the oversecretion of specific hormones that lead us to mobilization.
So now let's talk a bit about psychosomatic symptoms. They are basically symptoms that hide any emotional problems, and any symptom that we can imagine can actually become a real symptom when we are in an anxiety situation. They are symptoms that cannot be explained medically because they occur for psychological or behavioral reasons. We know that anxiety affects our health. Anxiety can impact our health by causing persistent headaches, muscle tension or pain, chest pain, fatigue or feeling of tension, problems with our stomach, and even sleep problems. We also know that people who have high levels of anxiety have thought patterns such as catastrophizing, persistent worry, all or nothing thinking, and overgeneralizing. Some examples of this are we're going to show you now. So basically, about catastrophizing, when you have a small disagreement with a friend, you immediately think they'll never talk to me again, our friendship is over. When you're constantly concerned about your family's safety and you're thinking, what if something bad happens to them when I'm not around? All or nothing thinking is after you miss one workout, you think I've ruined my fitness routine, there is no point in continuing. And overgeneralization is after you're being turned down for a date, you think nobody will ever like me, I will be alone forever. So we know anxiety has a big effect on emotions as well. People who have high levels of anxiety experience feelings of insecurity, they lack motivation, and they feel overwhelmed very easily, especially when compared to people who have lower levels of anxiety. We know also that they might be irritable and they might experience sadness and depression. So as we saw, basically anxiety affects every part of ourselves. It also affects our behavior. People who are anxious tend to overeat or undereat. They have outbursts of anger, substance abuse problems, they avoid social interactions, and they reduce their exercise. So this is a picture that basically shows how anxiety rises. We have a situation, then the situation is followed by a thought, then by our emotions, and then is followed by our behavior. This here is basically a picture that showcases what we just said. Is a small summary, how anxiety and stress affect different parts of ourselves. So now we're going to spend a bit of time to talk about academic anxiety. So we know that stressors can arise in various settings, with one of them being the academic environment, and it is considered one of the most intense emotions one can experience, as it can result in reduced academic performance, poor quality of life, ineffective time management, and difficulties in social relationships. And these here are some statistics that showcase how important it is. For example, 40% of US college students feel inadequately rested for most of the time. Only 10% of students report no stress or less than the average amount, and 35% of students were diagnosed with an anxiety disorder in 2022.
Moving on to a case study, which gives you a clearer picture of what anxiety and stress is. Alex was a university student in his second year majoring in biology. Thank you. At first, the academic workload was manageable, but as assignments piled up and exams approached, he began feeling overwhelmed. The pressure to succeed, combined with social expectations, started to trigger intense anxiety. Alex found himself worrying about failure, disappointing his family, and falling behind his classmates. His anxiety would peak during moments like group discussions or exams. His chest would tighten, and he would feel paralyzed by the thought of getting something wrong. Rather than seeking help, Alex turned to maladaptive ways to cope. So what are the maladaptive ways to cope with anxiety and stress? Avoidance. Alex started skipping classes and avoiding group projects, hoping that avoiding his stressors would ease his anxiety. He began procrastinating on assignments, telling himself he will do it later. The looming deadlines heightened his stress, and he found himself cramming last minute, which only worsened his anxiety. Alex spent hours watching TV shows, and playing video games as a way to distract himself from his worries. While it gave him short-term relief, it kept him from addressing the root of his anxiety. To cope with his anxiety, Alex turned to comfort foods high in sugar and caffeine. He hoped they would give him the energy to push through, but they left him feeling sluggish and more anxious. So in general, maladaptive ways of coping stress and anxiety is when a person deals with the stressors in a healthy way, rather than seeking out healthy solutions that lead to more positive outcomes. These maladaptive coping mechanisms may help the person feel better in the moment, but can lead to increased stress over time. What are some adaptive ways of coping that Alex could use? Calm breathing. The steps you need to apply to make the calm breathing: it's make your breathing slower, deeper, and steadier. Breathe slowly from the nose. Hold the air for a few seconds in your lungs. Release the air from your mouth, and repeat the exercise 5 times. Relax your muscles. Tense and then relax all the muscles of your body. Clench your fists, then release. Tighten the muscles in your arms, then relax. Push your shoulders back and up, then release. Tighten the muscles in your tummy, then relax. Tense the muscles in your legs, then release. Curl up your toes and clench your feet, then release. Scrunch up the muscles in your face, then relax. Moving on to the third technique, the mindfulness. Mindfulness can help to provide distance from negative or overpowering feelings of anxiety and stress. In general, mindfulness meditation is the process of purposefully and non-judgmentally observing thoughts, feelings, and sensations that are happening in the present moment. 5 senses. The 5 senses basically focus on what is around you and not on what worries you. Focus on 5 things you can see. Focus on 4 things you can feel. Focus on 3 sounds you can hear. Focus on 2 things you can smell. And focus on 1 good thing about yourself. And then a picture of some things you can establish in your daily routine and can help to cope with anxiety and stress. Healthy eating habits, exercise as a part of your daily routine, organize your tasks and your place, talk to a friend, or talk to a therapist. Then a picture of a diaphragmatic breathing. And the steps goes like lie on your back with your knees, bend on a pillow under your knees, or sit up straight in a chair. Place one hand flat on your upper chest and the other hand on your stomach. Breathe in slowly through your nose and breathe out slowly through pursed lips. A picture of the techniques which of most were already discussed. And then, as Mrs. Fanny said before, we are from GEPSIPA. The reason for this presentation was to provide information regarding anxiety and stress, although some of you might require additional help to cope. So GEPSIPA provides both individual psychotherapy and psychoeducational groups to students and staff of the university for free. We have also psychoeducational groups, which will begin 21st of this month, self-improvement in Greek, psychoeducation for anxiety in Greek, psychoeducation for anxiety in English, and self-improvement in English as well. And how to contact us, we have a telephone, and if you would like, you can send an email as well. Thank you so much.
If you have any questions you would like us to answer, you can ask us. Yeah, this is if you want to take a picture.
Any questions?
You can take a picture.
If you want, you can take a picture of the groups and how to contact us. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Andrea, Maria, and Eleni, for your useful presentation. All these groups and all the groups therapy and the information, I want to remind you that we said in the first week, please follow us. We showed to you the means you can follow on social media, emails, website, all the means you can use. Please make it a habit once per week and every day. I know sometimes you think there are a lot of announcements, but a lot of useful things for you are happening every week. So a good advice is to check so you are aware of what is happening at your university. So we now go on with our last presentation before the break, which is Smart Nutrition for Academic Success, Learn Practical Nutrition Tips. Let me explain to you what follows before. After this presentation, we go for a break. We are going to have healthy food offers to you prepared by our students. And then we come back for our last session, and also a lot of announcements will follow for our other events we have until the orientation finishes. So please now let's welcome Mrs. Dr. Elena Hajibey for her presentation. Elena?
Thank you, Angela. Good morning, everyone. I'm Elena Hajibey, co-coordinator of Nutrition and Dietetics Program of the European University of Cyprus. First of all, I would like to welcome you to the European University and wish you a happy and successful academic year. I'm very happy to be today here with you to talk about the importance of nutrition in academic performance, in academic success, and learn some practical nutrition tips in order to improve your ability to learn. A student's performance is not only dependent on studying. Of course, you have to study, but also nutrition plays a vital role. More and more studies support the significance of good nutrition in concentration, memory, and mental performance. If nutrition is combined with study and a good sleep, then we have the triptych of success: nutrition, study, sleep. There are specific nutrients, such as B-complex vitamins, and especially folate, omega-3 fatty acids, and iron, that have an essential role in brain functioning. Therefore, students should include these dietary components in their diet in order to boost their brain. Let's see where we can find these nutrients, these dietary components. We can find folate in dark green leafy vegetables such as spinach, Brussels, sprouts, lettuce, asparagus, broccoli, in pulses such as beans, in nuts such as peanuts, sunflower seeds, fruits, liver, whole grains, seafood, and eggs. Next, we can find omega-3 fatty acids in fish and other seafood, in nuts and seeds, and in avocado. We can find iron in meat, especially red meat, which is the best source of iron, also in liver, seafood, pulses, and leafy greens. Here, just to highlight that iron from animal foods is absorbed more efficiently than iron from plant foods. But there is a way, there is a secret to increase the absorption of plant iron just by combining plant sources of iron with foods rich in vitamin C. Which fruits are rich in vitamin C are citrus fruits such as lemon, orange, tomatoes, and peppers. The most easiest practical way to increase the absorption of plant iron is just to combine your food with lemon. Let's say that we have beans, it's good to combine them with lemon. Moving on, we are going to talk about the appropriate dietary pattern for students, then some health behaviors, and finally about some foods that are related to academic success. So the appropriate dietary pattern for students and for everyone is the Mediterranean diet. Mediterranean diet affects students' mental and physical health status. It has been related to better cognitive function in students. Also, it seems that higher Mediterranean diet adherence has been associated with better academic performance, while a Western type diet has been associated with worse cognitive performance. Moreover, Mediterranean diet promotes quality of life. Here is a study conducted in Spain and included 1,400 students with mean age of 12 years old. The purpose of the study was to examine the adherence to the Mediterranean diet and academic performance. The black column represents poor adherence to the Mediterranean diet. The gray column represents average adherence, and the white column represents good adherence to the Mediterranean diet. As you can see, the group with good adherence to the Mediterranean diet had significantly higher scores in maths and language compared to the other two groups. Respectively, the group with the average adherence to the Mediterranean diet has also significantly higher scores in maths and language compared to the group with poor adherence. Generally, the students with good adherence to the Mediterranean diet had significantly higher scores in all academic indicators. Just to remember what is the Mediterranean diet suggests high consumption of fruits, vegetables, unprocessed cereals, olive oil, nuts, fish and seafoods, moderate consumption of dairy products, eggs and poultry, and low consumption of red meat and sweets. it seems that higher adherence to this dietary pattern is associated with reduced risks for several chronic diseases. Also, higher Mediterranean diet adherence is significantly associated with lower risk of depression. Moving on health behaviors for students, for everyone, of course, breakfast is a habit that students should have. There is a positive effect of habitual breakfast consumption on academic performance. More frequent consumption and, of course, higher nutritional quality of breakfast are positively associated with academic achievement. Here is another study in students in Texas. It's a large study with a long period of 11 years to examine the effect of breakfast upon their grade on general biology exam. According to the results, there was significant difference in the performance of those who had eaten breakfast and those that did not have breakfast. You can see that, that we have more A's, more B's for students who had eaten breakfast, and on the other hand, more D's and especially F's for students that did not have breakfast. So breakfast is very important. Here are some easy breakfast ideas, such as yogurt with fruits and nuts, yogurt with oats, honey, and cinnamon. You can have egg with bread and little cheese, milk with whole grain cereals, milk with toast, overnight oats. Another good behavior that students should have is the consumption of small and frequent meals. So we suggest to have 3 main meals during the day, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and 2 to 3 snacks between. Small and frequent meals provide adequate energy to fuel cognitive function. Small and frequent meals also provide the vehicle for nutrients delivery. Consuming at least 2 regular meals per day was associated with higher GPAs. What is GPA? GPA is the average of grades achieved across all study subjects completed. Some clever snack ideas: yogurt, fruits, nuts and seeds, cheese, oatmeal fruit bar, overnight oats, honey sesame bar, chouchoucos, bananas with peanut butter, and popcorn. Did they try chouchoucos? Moving on foods that are related to academic performance. First of all, fruits. Students consuming 2 or more servings of fruit attain higher academic achievement. So consume fruits for academic success. Another food group that has strong association with academic success is fish. Association between fish consumption, there is association between fish consumption and cognitive performance and academic achievement. Fish intake was inversely associated with risk of depressive symptoms in undergraduate students. So, and for academic achievement and for depression. In order to summarize, positive health behaviors such as breakfast consumption, regular meals, high consumption of fruits and vegetables, high consumption of fish and nuts, high adherence to a healthy dietary pattern such as Mediterranean diet, being physically active, attaining adequate sleep, lead to academic achievement. On the other hand, negative, bad health behaviors, such as excessive alcohol use, sleep deprivation, high consumption of junk food, regular consumption of soft drinks, and low adherence to the Mediterranean diet do not lead to academic achievement. Therefore, students should strive to eat a balanced diet of whole grains, proteins, dairy, fruits, and vegetables. Here I have for you 2 simple daily diet plans for small students such as you. So the first example, I suggest for breakfast yogurt with oats, banana, and walnuts. Between breakfast and lunch, toast with egg, cheese, tomato, and lettuce, and an apple. For lunch, lemony chickpeas with spinach, olive oil, and wholemeal bread. You can find this in cafeteria. It's my favorite food. For snack after, you can have iced latte, coffee with a sesame bar. For dinner, salad with chicken or cheese, quinoa, beetroot, avocado, sunflower seeds, and dressing with olive oil and lemon. And before going to bed, pomegranate and almonds. It's very important to focus on seasonal fruits. And you can see in this example, we have small and frequent meals. Another daily diet plan. For breakfast, you can have a cup of milk with egg, bread, cheese, and tomato. For snack, overnight oats with chia seeds, banana, and peanut butter. We have it also in cafeteria, another one favorite. And for lunch, fish with rice, salad, and olive oil. For snack, guavas, seasonal fruit, walnuts, and for dinner, something easy like pasta with fresh tomatoes, olive oil. We give emphasis on olive oil and grated cheese. And before going to bed, you can enjoy some crepes. Thank you very much. If you have any questions.
Thank you very much, Elena. So we also have at the university a program of offering to our students free diets. So you are going to be announced later on about that. So we are done with that presentation as well. And we go based on the program then. We go for a break. And you come back 11:35 for the last presentations and announcements. Thank you very much.
Βγάλαμε ο Αλέξης λίγο τις ποσοειδές, θα πάω να τα πιάει τώρα.
Τι έβγαλες?
Εγώ είπα του να φέρει σήμερα πια τα για ούλους. Βγάλαμε περίπου 25 μπουκάλες για τα αναψυκτικά.
Ρώτησες τη πρόσωπα να τη ρωτήσεις.
Ναι, αφού πάσουν 8 ποτήρια να λύνουν.
Βάλτα, έλα εδώ, μην φύγεις ένα λεπτό.
Καρτεράκι μαζί.
Εντάξει. Το παιχνίδι με το app τώρα είναι το μόνο που υπάρχει περίπτωση να θέλουμε κάτι. Well, welcome back. So now we are going to proceed with a presentation, how to be mentally resilient. And for this, I will call now on the stage the lecturer of social work, Dr. Eleni Athanasiou. Eleni?
Good morning. Kalimera. Eάν και είναι λίγο αργά για καλημέρα, maybe it's a bit late to wish you all a good morning, but I hope you're really enjoying yourselves. Welcome, welcome to EUC, welcome to European University Cyprus. It's a pleasure to see your faces. My name is Eleni Athanasiou, as my lovely colleague Angela just mentioned, and I'm a social worker. And I've been working here at EUC teaching since 2009, so for 15 years, and I'm really enjoying the community here and the bonds and relationships between students and faculty and other members of staff. So welcome. We're going to talk a bit about mental resilience. So it's one of my interests, how we can become stronger, how each and every one of us can gain some skills in order to be able to cope with whatever life has in place for them. So trying to understand resilience, if we think back, it comes from biology, from physics, yeah? So it has to do with how different materials react when there's some kind of force exercised on them. How do they respond when an external force, in a sense, invades their space, yeah? So borrowing from physics, we're going to look at resilience from a more psychological aspect, if you like. So we're going to look at how all of us, each and every one of us, can actually become stronger in that mental resilience is to do with adapting to difficulty and being able to face successfully whatever challenging experiences may lie ahead. But it's also to have a network around you and to be able to draw support from that network, whether it be friends, family, co-students, academics, or other people. It's important to know who I can talk to and where I can get support or extra help from. How well we cope and how well we adapt when things become more difficult has to do with how we see the world as well, so our viewpoint, our perspective, if you like, and also what kind of resources we have around us and what kind of resources we have access to. And also the strategies that every one of us as an individual is using in order to build their strength, in order to remain positive or to expand our horizon or become better. Research demonstrates that resources and skills are very tightly linked with a more positive adaptation when things don't go as planned, when plans fall through, when something unexpected comes along. That is a very common or very frequent, if you like, characteristic of life. You can think about it as a seesaw. So you can position yourself in the center of the seesaw as a fulcrum, and if you stuck on one side the positive experiences, the things that we've enjoyed, things that we've managed to accomplish and that we are proud and happy about, and on the other side, if you stuck difficulties, things that may have not gone our ways, or opportunities that we may miss, or something negative that could have happened in the past. This is how it works. So we are trying to keep a balance in a sense, and obviously the more positive experiences we have, the better able we are to hold even those challenges, those difficult moments or times that may appear in our life. If you look at research, you may come up with 7 components, what it really means to be resilient. So competence, to be good, to have the skills to achieve what you set out to do. Confidence, so self-awareness, self-belief, knowing your strengths and your weaknesses. Connection, again, the network, the people and services around us, the professionals around us, all of these can be helpful to make us stronger. Our character and some traits that we may have that can help us be more resilient in the face of adversity. Contribution, so feeling that we are part of what's going on, feeling that we can have a role. And coping and control, so having mechanisms to cope with stress, with difficulties, and feeling that we do have some control as to how we react to what happens to us or around us. Our happiness level might have something to do with our sense of vulnerability. So, do I feel like I am vulnerable? Like, do I feel vulnerable here standing in front of all of you on my own? So our sense of vulnerability, how we interpret situations as well, and our experience and our self-esteem, and all of that can be linked to how close we feel with the people that are around us at any given moment. So if I feel close to you and you feel like you're on my side, then I will be more confident standing here opposite you and trying to communicate. If I feel that you're a more hostile audience, I might find it harder to stand up and talk to you. So it's a kind of a two-way street, and a lot of it is down to who you have around you. If we kind of dip into neuroscience as well, we can see that our brain is formed, and the synapses, the links between the different neurons, are formed in a kind of social environment. So they are encouraged, especially at a young age, and they can be influenced by what's happening around you, and then they can have an impact on who you become in the process. The good news is that brain plasticity tells us that we still grow. So it's not that if someone had a hard childhood and some difficult experiences, they are not able to move on from that and become better and heal, if you like. So it's within our relationships that we are traumatized sometimes, but it's also within relationships that we can start healing, that we can start mending. So it's important to make positive connections, to look out for your fellow students and communicate and connect and support each other through this wonderful journey that lies ahead. We must be very careful with the term resilience because it can be misused. It can be used in a very negative way in that it can make people feel bad. So we need to allow people to deal with loss, to be vulnerable, to have time that they are sad, and to be allowed not to cope well. We cannot be expected to cope 24/7. It's impossible. So we have to allow for everything else, but at the same time, we build resilience. So we don't expect everyone to be resilient all the time. Being resilient doesn't mean you are bulletproof. Things might go wrong and they might affect you and your well-being and how you see yourself, how you feel. And we should all be allowed to be vulnerable, and we should not be encouraged to suppress or hide our feelings. It's important to share and to talk about it. No need to put a brave face on. It's good to be able to share with people you trust and people you feel are in your corner, are on your side. There is an issue about whether we assign personal responsibility when something goes wrong. So there is a danger of pathologizing, if you like, the individual, saying that it's my fault, I'm not coping well. It's not that the circumstances are really difficult or the challenges are really big. So it's always important to have and to be able to have access and find help when we need to. You can think of resilience as a house that you have already started building, but you can really try and reinforce it during your academic years. So foundations, informal networks, use these opportunities, use Orientation Week, the excursions, the games. It's about connecting, getting to know the people you will be spending the next 3-4 years with. So it's good to use these opportunities to build a foundation and expand your networks. I'm sure you all have friends or family, but at this point, at this stage in your life, they may be further away. So it's important to keep links with those. We have good connections and also try and make new links. It's a good idea to also look at how you make sense of the world. So try and kind of open yourself to different perspectives. And also other things like your social skills, your self-esteem, having a sense of humor, being able to laugh at ourselves and at adversity. That's also a very powerful tool. And you can, each and every one of you can add an extra skill or experience that you see as positive and helpful. So try and make a plan, even if it's a mental plan. What is there that supports me? What do I have? So if things go wrong, where can I go? Who can I talk to? Think about strategies to cope with stress, with difficulties, with time pressure. An assignment goes wrong. You miss a deadline. You become unwell during the exams. Think of ways that you can cope with whatever comes along. Sagacity is to do with things that please us, that gives us comfort, that gives us a sense that things are all right. It's about self-care. It's about looking after ourselves. What do I enjoy doing? What makes me happy? Try and have more of that in your lives. And also try and look at what behaviors you have to find solutions when things go wrong. So what have I used in the past that has helped me get over an adversity successfully? I need to hang on to that strategy, to that way of thinking. So I'm going to invite you to use your phones and either follow the link that is on the screen or scan, you know the deal, so we can do a little quiz all together about resilience. I'm going to allow a few seconds for you guys to connect. Can I change the screen? Perfect, thank you. Excuse me 1 second, because I think it's been... No. I'm gonna carry on with this a bit, and then I'm gonna show you the quiz and the results. So I want to talk a bit about a Japanese word, given that we are in an intercultural setting. I don't know if you've come across it before. The Japanese have a way of dealing with pottery when it's broken, when it breaks into pieces. Instead of throwing it out or trying to mend it in a way that you cannot see the cracks, that is usually how we deal with it, they have a different way, and they actually infuse the cracks with gold. The idea behind this is that if we all have flaws, we all have weaknesses, if we embrace them, if we are aware of them, that is also what makes us special. So it's important to try and look at things through different eyes. So sometimes when we may feel down or broken, it's important to remember that we can be stronger in those broken places, and that it's all our experiences, both positive and the ones that are harder to deal with, that makes us who we are. So thank you very much for your attention. It's been a pleasure. And I'm going to open the quiz.
So, our last presentation for today, which is very important, since every year, unfortunately, like in all other countries, we have a lot of cases of accidents on roads, is zero road fatalities, our goal. And we have together with us the police officer, Mr. Christiana Katsexou, to make her presentation and talk to you about this issue. Thank you, Christiana.